Video, we're going to illustrate how to simulate a sequence detector using LogiSim. Here I've already connected the logic diagram for a 101 sequence detector circuit. Notice I've already connected the clock here, and I used the same clock for both flip-flops that I'm using. And for the input X, in which I'm going to feed in my serial input, I've used an input pin. And for the output, I've used an output pin and labeled it Y. To do the connection in here, you might need to learn how to rotate components in LogiSim, and the way to do that is to simply click on the component and then change the facing of that component. Now we're going to move on to running the simulation. First step is to make sure that under the simulation menu or the simulate menu, simulation enabled is ticked, as well as ticks enabled is also ticked. To adjust the speed of the frequency of the clock, or to adjust the speed of the clock, what you need to do is to go to simulate and then tick frequency and then choose the desired frequency. I'll choose 0.5 Hertz, so it's slow enough for me to explain what's going on in the circuit. Notice that now the clock is toggling automatically because simulation is enabled and the ticks is also enabled. What we're going to do next is we're going to click on the this icon here, the hand icon, so we can actually control the input. The input sequence we're going to feed in order to receive an output equals to 1 is 101. So far the sequence at the input is continuously being 0, and since this flip-flop is a rising edge triggered flip-flop, that means when the clock changes from low to high, or when it rises, that means that's when the output of the flip-flop is being updated. Or alternatively, you can say when the clock here changes from low to high, that's when Q is going to be equal to D, right? So that means when I want to input 1, I will wait until the clock is low and then change input X to 1, and then wait till the clock rises from low to high. That's when I know that the 1 that I will input will be read by the flip-flop. So let's do that. Then when the clock is off, that means when the clock is dimmed green, that means it says 0, right? So I will do my changes here slowly, and then you will observe that the output Y will turn to 1 once I feed in the complete sequence serially at X. 1, 0, 1. Notice what will happen to the output. What I'm doing for the circuit to work is I will make my changes while the flip-flop or while the clock is actually off. And in LogiSim, when the clock is off or when any signal has a value equals to 0, you'll see a darker shade of green as the wire color. So now the clock is off, high, low, high, and so on. I'm gonna do this once again. I will input 101, the correct sequence, and then I will observe that the output should change back to 1. So this is 1, 0, and finally 1. This completes the test of the 101 sequence detector using LogiSim.